eComm Enterprises, an IT, EDI, ERP consulting firm that you can trust. Hello and welcome to the eComm Enterprises YouTube channel. We're thrilled to have you here. Our mission is to create informative and easy-to-follow videos that provide training, evaluation, and a deeper understanding of the IT, EDI, and ERP world, particularly as they relate to the supply chain. At eComm Enterprises, we are passionate about helping small and medium-sized companies streamline and automate their supply chain processes in a budget-friendly way. Whether you're looking to improve efficiency, reduce costs, or simply learn more about these critical technologies, you've come to the right place. So hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey to make supply chain management simpler and more efficient for businesses just like yours. Let's get started. Visit us at www.ecomment.ae.
We bring to you today a training exercise for BizMapper version 16, and we're going to take you through the whole process of creating a map. We're going to do an inbound A50 map from ANSI X12 A50 5010 to an XML output representing the same A50 purchase order. So if you're not familiar with the BizManager suite, the BizManager suite comes with MFT tools, the manage file transfer tools that allows you to do AS2, SFTP, API, so on and so forth. It also has a web UI interface that allow you to do configuration of trading partners, adding trading partners, and the configuration process and all that. And also has what is called the BizMapper, which is the transformation piece. For this training, we're going to focus completely on the transformation piece only. So I have it here on the desktop. As you can see, it says Mapper 16. 16 is the current version. 16.6, I believe, is the latest version at the time of this recording. The one quick trick that I want to show you all, that before you double click and run this, you must always run this as an administrator. If you don't run it as an administrator, you're going to run into issues. So one way that you could do it, you can right click and select run as administrator, or to skip that step and just double click, you go to the properties and then you go into compatibilities. And then in here, you click and run this program as administrator. You check on that, you hit apply, you hit OK. And then when you double click, it would always execute as administrator. And it will give you this message that we see on screen. We say yes. And then it pulls up the BizMapper. I apologize for my machine. It's a little bit slow. There it is. There we go. So here are your options. You can create a map, you open a map, you create a document definition, and you can open a document definition. So to begin with, let me open a map. I believe I should have some map here. Yeah, so let's open this A50 purchase order. So in the above, in the tabs, the tabs in the toolbar, you have the start, which is this first screen. Then you have the source, which is the source BDD, and BDD stands for Business Document Definition. Basically, is the skeleton of the document that you're going to be processing. In this case, it's an A50 purchase order, and it has the built-in ISA, GS, ST, and all the segments for the purchase order. Now, I did not create this. This comes from with the tool. You can download it from OpenText support in the section where you find the BizMapper or BizManager. You should be able to find there's a couple of zip files that are basically the included into the software, and then you can import whatever transaction set you need. In this case, we're doing the A50 transaction set. I believe this is the 4010. Then you have the target, and the target in this case is a JSON document. And then you have the map, and here in the map is where you can go from A to B, moving data back and forth. And basically, it's a drag and drop situation, as such. And then test is to execute a test on the current map. You put the source file here and the target file name. Obviously, make sure that the name is not the same as the source. Otherwise, you would overwrite the source file. So if the source file is PO123, you can name the target file as PO123.json, just so you make a difference which one is the source and which one is the target. The document viewer would allow you to load the file. When you load the source and the target here, you can do document viewer and then do the parse, and it'll break down the file in a tree format so you can see. Batch test, I'm not going to cover this because it's a little bit advanced, and honestly, I never really use it, but it's just to execute a test with a batch set of files so you can run through and see how it behaves when you have multiple file processing. Never really used it. I only do one-to-one, one input, one output. And the finish, if you need to promote the map into the server, into the web UI that we were talking about. This is out of the scope of this training. So I'm just going to be talking mainly in the source, target, and the map, the testing, and the doc viewer. I'll show you the doc viewer once so you can see what it looks like. So you in the map, you always have the source on the right, and the source on the left and the target on the right. Always, this is your source, this is your target. So to start a map, you need to have the BDD, the business document definition. In this case, obviously this exists, but I'm going to show you how to create an XML BDD from scratch. So you have an XML file, and then you want to know how am I going to create that output, that BDD, and then you could create it manually one step at a time, or you can do it a little bit faster, and I'll show you that. Okay, so let's get out of here. I'm going to close this map. I'm not going to save it. No, I don't want to save it. I'm going to go File. Actually, here in the start, you see this says Create a Map, Open a Map, Create a Document Definition. So before we create a document definition, we can do it like this: create a document definition. You can import a data from a data source to build a new document definition, or you can create a new document definition and then you click next. If you do it this way, it'll ask you for a file format. You can select database, edifact, flat file, fix, flat file variable, JSON, NACHA, NACHA, which is well, I'm not going to cover that. And here's X12 and here's XML. So if I select XML, I go next, then it start with the document, and then I can just right click and hit add a new element sibling, a new element child, and so on and so forth. We're not going to do it like this because this would take forever, but I wanted to show you how this can be done. So I'm going to do file close. No, I don't want to save it. So to start with, I need to show you what an XML file looks like, and the one that we're going to use. This is a sample A50 purchase order output, which is going to be an XML, and I just call it sample A50 PO123.xml, and it has data related to a certain trading partner ordering certain items. Okay, and it's just one purchase order with multiple items, and that's it. So I need to take this and convert it into an XSD. An XSD stands for XML schema, and the schema basically is the layout of the file. To do that, the fastest way that I know how and that it works pretty good is to do it using Visual Studio. And here is the same XML. So basically, I went to the location of this folder and I right click on it and I select the open with, and I open with Microsoft Visual Studio 2022. Now, I just installed Microsoft Visual Studio 2022. Um, I am not an expert on Microsoft Visual Studio, but I do know you need to make sure that you install the right, when you're doing the installation, you need to install the right components that will contain the XML. Usually I install the .NET components, the ASP.NET components, and the Azure, and I don't think I install anything else. Try to keep it bare bones, but my point is, if you don't see this XML, you may need to install additional components. That's beyond this video, but just just to let you know, because sometimes I have installed it and I'm missing it and I don't know why. It's because you're missing a component that some of the extensions or whatever they call it. So that's why you don't have it if you don't have it. So I opened the XML. So let me show you how I did it. Basically, I mean, like I said it, right? So I have this XML file and I open it and that's it. Simple as that. Then I go XML and I say create schema. That runs and here it is. It's as simple as that. Now you have a schema based based on the XML that we had open. Now one thing I do is I change all these data types, unsigned short, unsigned int, unsigned byte, all these data types to string. The reason for that is because BizMapper may have issues with the data when you are mapping the data. It may say, well, that's not a, oops, sorry. It may say that's not a, hold on one second. Okay. That is not an integer, or that is not a byte, or that it just started giving me a lot of issues. So what I do, I go here and I find, and then I do, what is it I do? Right here. No, here. Yes, replace. And then basically I do a final replace with string. And then I do replace all. Okay, then I find the unsigned int and do the same thing. Replace all. Unsigned byte, do the same thing. Replace all. Let me see, I gotta go through all the data types, make sure I capture everything. Okay, this is decimal, unsigned long, replace all, the decimal, gonna do the same thing. And that's it. So now after everything is called string, okay, I close this, and then I'm gonna save it, file, save as, and I'm gonna leave it the same name. So I have it here, I think, save, yes, XSD. So that would give me the XML schema. I won't need this anymore. I'm gonna close it. Don't save, I already saved it. Okay, so then now I'm gonna say create a document definition, right? And I'm gonna import from a data source to build a new document. I hit next, and I'm gonna select XML schema. I go browse, do EDI data, samples, and I have it here on the sample A50, and here's my schema. I do open, so I make sure that the file name is the one, XML schema, yes, next. And then it brings this XML schema wizard. I say next, show all elements. So this is the EDI envelope, that's fine. Say next. Okay, so I click, okay, I don't need to click there. So as you can see so I'm selecting everything. I'm not gonna change it because I want everything. But if you didn't want something, you can obviously uncheck it. Okay, then I do next. Okay, no unsupported type. Okay, so here, if you have a data type that is not string, I don't know how it does with the dates. I don't know. I have run into so many issues, so I just decided to make everything string, and I never get into any issues when I'm importing it. So if you get an issue here saying that this data type is unsupported, it's because you forgot to change one of the data types. So go back and change the data type, and then you'll be fine. Then hit finish, and here it is. So just for your information, if you need to change something, like let's say I need to change that data type, you can always come here and you can, do we right click? Yes, and then change type right here. And then you can select decimal, date, or whatever. But now that you change it here, it'll do it in a smart way that the program would know what to do with it rather than not knowing what to do if it says an XML date or XML integer or XML whatever. So here you can do these changes. Okay? All right, we're going to pause right here and we'll be back with the rest of the information. Welcome back, everybody. We're picking up from where we left off last time. So we created the XML schema and we created the BDD, the business document definition, for the XML output of the inbound 850 map that we're going to create. So now we're going to save it, and the name that we're going to give it, we're going to call it just sample 850 X12 XML. So it's a 850 conversion. Maybe we put 4010. Actually, we'll put it X12 4010. Okay, so we're going to be naming the BDD sample A504010-X12-XML. Now, it is important we remember this because we're going to need to find this file later. Okay, and then now we're going to put a description. So we're going to say sample of A50 4010 PO transform into an XML PO. You can put as much as you want or be as brief as you want to be. Then now we hit save. Okay. And there are other things we need to do. So this use for envelope recognition is important. It has a function and it's important to remember. In this case, this is going to be false. But Remember this, and I will, in future videos, I will tell you what that is, the importance of that. So I believe we have this completed. So we can go ahead and return to start. And then now we're gonna create a map. And we're gonna start. Notice when you hit start, it give you start, source, and target. So we start with the source. We're going to use an existing document definition, and then I'm gonna look real quick at the file that we're gonna be using, which is this one. Um, okay, this is version 4010. Okay, perfect. Um, So we're gonna be needing to use the document definition that came with BizMapper, that is A504010. So here is the X12 A504010. This is the name as it comes from the OpenText support website. When you download it on a zip file, and then you have to import it, and then you select which transactions you want to import. So I already have this. I'm not going to cover that on this video, but just so you know that this is created by OpenText. Then I hit next, and here it is. This is the A50 purchase order version 4010. Used for envelope recognition, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say true to that. And the reason for that is because this is the source. When the file comes in into BizManager, it's going to be looking to match it against something. And because this is the source, and the file is gonna come from a trading partner outside, we're gonna use this as as an envelope recognition. So when it reads the file, it'll break it down, and then it'll match it to this business document definition. I'll show you that in the future videos when we are talking about the trading partner onboarding and configuration. Then now we do next, continue to the target, and then we're gonna use an existing document definition, and then we do next, and we're gonna be looking for that file that we created that we call sample A504010 X12 to XML. We hit next, and that's it. Continue to map. So here we have the source and the target, and we're ready to start moving from this side to this side. This is called mapping or transformation, and then basically we're going to be going from source to target, source to target. There's two type of links. There's a cardinality link and a map link. A cardinality link, usually I refer to it as a trigger. What it does is it triggers the position on the tag. So if you're gonna come here and you're gonna do, you want to trigger this, I would do a cardinality link, and I could do it like this: create cardinality link. The difference between one link and the other, the cardinality is the dashes, dash, 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 dash. Um, and the link from a field to an actual data field or a tag is just a straight line as such. And notice the check marks. Okay, so we're gonna we're gonna delete this. And actually, so what this does is saying, okay, we're gonna start right here. Now, I don't want it to start from the ISA because, do I want it to? Yes, I do want it to start from the ISA. But here's the ST, so I'm gonna trigger the ST from this ST and create a cardinality link. You need a cardinality link on every single one of these. So this is to this, create cardinality link like so. So every segment that you're gonna be mapping, if you're gonna map something to it, like for example, I'm gonna put E01353, which is this guy right here. I'm going to map it right here. If I don't have a cardinality link, it will give me an error. So let me hit validate. It says successful. But if I remove this guy and hit validate, oh, it shouldn't be successful. Okay, that's a glitch. But I'll show it to you when I do it. When I go into testing, you'll see that it'll throw an error when I don't have a cardinality link. So now we have the data, the source and the target. We're going to just start mapping left and right, from left to right. So we have the STO1. We can do create a map link, or again, we can drag and drop. The BEG, we do O2, O3, and then O5. Notice that here we skip 4 and we skip 6, 7, 8, and all that, all the way to 12. So currency we don't do, we do the FOB segment here. The first thing we do is create a cardinality link, and then we do O1, and then the ITD. Okay, let me close some of these so it looks cleaner. So the ITD to the ITD. Again, we can do this, and he knows that it's going to be a cardinality link. And then O1, O2, O6, 7, and 12 for the description. So again, here we have the numbers, right? But your data, you may have names. So it may be terms, net days due, or whatever. In this case, we have the segment and then the elements here. That's what the E means. Element O1, element O2, so on and so forth. So that's how I know where what goes. In your case, you need to get yourself familiarized with the data and understand what is it that they want there. And if you don't know, you ask the business people, what is it, where do you want this? The best way to do it is to give them a piece of the data, give them an output, and then run it through into the ERP, and they can see what they're getting. Okay, so the loop N9 does up here. Again, this is not in order, so be aware of that. See, like the LIN is the item, the ID, MEA. Here's the N9. So I'm not gonna map this just to make it quicker, but you see what I'm doing. Also, I'm gonna show you farther down the line, I'm gonna show you some tricks that you might wanna be aware of. Okay, here's the N1. So I'm going to do the cardinality link here and here. And then the O1, the O, we don't have the O2, but we want the O3, we want the O4, and the N2, we want the name, and again, we want the cardinality link, N3, the N3 address O1, we don't care about the O2, the N4, Create cardinality link, city, N1, O2, and O3, and then loop PO1. So I just finished doing all the mapping on the fields that I wanted to capture. And as you can see, there's all the lines going from from left to right. And the data is mapped. Okay, so now we're gonna do a test. On the test here, we're gonna do browse and we're gonna locate the sample data. So we got samples, sample A50, and then we have the .edi file. And then on the file, on the output, on the target, I'm gonna put .xml. So it's same file name. I just changed the extension. If you don't change the extension, you're gonna overwrite this. So I usually do this. Let me put -1 to make sure it's a totally different one. And if I do different iteration. So I'm gonna run a test. We'll see what errors we get. Okay, so we have an error right here, document type envelope. That's very common error. Document type envelope name must be set on field with a default value representing the document type. If you double click here, it'll take you to the target. So it wants you to determine the document type, the field that is gonna identify as a document type. So what we do here is um, see envelope name, envelope type. Start interchange, envelope name, document type. Actually, I'm gonna select, yes, that one, document type. So you see, I'm saying that this guy right here is gonna give me the document type. We need to select which one is the one that we're gonna call document type. So, and it has to have a value. So I can say default value right here. I'm gonna call it A50 XML. Just as simple as that. Then I go back to the test and I run it. Test. And now the start envelope is out of sequence. And document must contain a start document sequence. Okay, so what it's saying is that we need to say what is the start document, because I said that this was the start interchange. So I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna say here, this is the start of an interchange, and this one is gonna be start of a document. The other error, start envelope out of sequence. Okay, I think that should take care of it. Yep. Okay, so it created an output. It was successful. However, there's a few compliance. If there was an error, it'll say error, 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 but there was no error because it's a straight map. However, there's a few compliance. This is probably the length. There must be a minimum of one instance of the body X12 loop. So is basically going through, if you look at this EDI envelope body X12 loop P01, so basically EDI envelope body X12, and then it said loop P01, and this is how you read this error. And then loop PID G013. So in the loop PID G013, probably is because it's saying that it has to have one and it doesn't have it. So to fix that, we go to the PO1 PID here and see minimum and maximum. So minimum occurrence, I could say 0. And then now if I go test, there's other errors, but that one is gone. So like let's pick this one. There must be one in the EDI envelope. So I didn't map anything to it, but let's map something to it. So let's do this guy, trading partner. Let's send the sender ID right here and the partner code. And the trading partner, let's send the sender code on the trading partner here. And the message, I can say message type, let's put this here, and the document, I already hard coded something there. So if I run the test, this should go away. See, it went away. Now it's talking about the EDI envelope body X12 and the DTM. The 3 instances were found, and it's probably 1-to-1. So this is basically the path EDI envelope dot body dot X12 A50 dot DTM. So it's a hierarchical level, and you can go, if you look at the map, you see EDI envelope, body, X12, DTM. And this is probably because, and the target is a 1-to-1, 1 minimum, 1 maximum. So yeah, see 1-1. So I could do minimum 0. 0 makes it optional. And then maximum, I could do 100, I could do whatever. But if you want an infinite, you can put asterisk, and that will be valid. See, you can check by doing validate, and it says it's fine. But I can also say 50. Either way is fine. And then we go back to test, and then that error should be gone. See now, so we start fixing the compliance issues. At the end, if it was successful, you just want to have audit. But I want to show you something. If we remove the cardinality link from here, you will see when you run the test, it should have given me an error. Let's try somewhere else. Let's see. Here in the DTM, we remove the cardinality link. We do validate. Okay, here it is. It says the parent record must be linked because this is the parent record, and it must be linked and this before the node can be linked. So basically, that's the type of errors that you see that there's a child, but the parent doesn't have a link. And if you try to run the test, see, you get the same error. Again, here's DTM, the node, and then the child records 1 and 2 because the DTM is missing. If you double click on the error, it takes you to where the issue is at. So you do create cardinality link, you validate, all the errors are gone. So those wanted to show that that's what happens when you don't have a cardinality link. So if we run the test, let's go through the errors. Oh, okay. The other thing I can show you is the doc viewer. Look, if I hit parse files, notice how it parsed the source. Interesting that it didn't parse the target because there were some errors. But you can see the information here, how is parsing the source file. So if you want to see something, or even if you want to verify that the file that the trading partner provided you with is an actual trading partner file, an actual purchase order valid format, you can do the doc viewer and it'll tell you, hey, there's something wrong with this file. It's not formatted correctly. Anyways, here's an error. Invalid controller state change detected. Current state -18. What is this? Okay, let's run the test. Okay. Oh, that was because of the last things that I was messing with. So that I fixed that already. Okay, so this one is the N9, the 0 instance. Again, when you see that it's 0 instance found, is because it's minimum 1, maximum 1, and it didn't find anything. So we need to go to the loop N9, and again, it's EDI envelope body X12A50 loop N9. That's the the X path of the XML. So here, I'm gonna make this minimum 0 and the N9 as well, minimum 0. It's good if you have many files to test against in case that you start. The more files you test with your map, the more then you can see what kind of changes you need to make. Remember, you created this schema using an XML file, and the XML file may not be may not have everything that you need. So you may need to go back and make and add fields, and I can show you how to do that later. So see, if it was successful, you have audit, 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 and you have no error, no compliance issue. Something that I want to show you is you can view the data, and here's the data. See, that's the output. And then you can also view the source here, so you can see what came in versus what came out. So this is how you create a map. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you would like to see something else. And I'm gonna be doing some more. I'm gonna take the same map and I'm gonna make advanced mapping changes like formulas and database connections and all these things. Um, Again, this was just a straight mapping, and I didn't do anything advanced on it, but now you're able to see. Let me show you what the XML file looks like. This is the XML file that we just created. And then you can see that the output was created successfully. Again, let me know if you want to see something else. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and let me know if this is helpful and I can keep creating this type of content for you. Thank you. Have a good day.